All right. Time for another story of something that I saw when all the BS that I had to go through for them 500 and some days. I have found it don't matter what part of life you're in, whether you're on the outside or you're in the inside, there will always be people that will try so hard to prove you did something that you didn't do, even when the facts are showing them that they're wrong. And at the same time, people around them are telling them the same thing. They're telling them he or she did not do it. The evidence is proving that. But that individual, the DA in my case, was so determined to convict me of something that I did not do just because somebody said that I did something. They are too hard headed to freaking listen to the facts and do their own research to get to the truth. And for the last 4 years, starting in 2020, that has been proven to be true again. People will listen to what other people say, especially on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also many other ones. They will take somebody's word, somebody's phrase, or somebody's video or TikTok as facts, but not willing to do their own research to find out if what that person or people are saying is actually backed up with facts, or is it just their opinion out of anger, stupidity, arrogant, whatever you want to call it, or all above in most cases. They'll just take somebody's word and they'll repeat that person's unlogical phrase or whatever they said and tell others to get them to go right along and create this false narrative agenda and make themselves feel like they're on the right side. But they are so determined to be right just because what somebody else said. It don't matter what the facts are telling them or the facts that they're not listening to and what other people are telling them. They'll be tunnel visioned and listen to only one narrative. They're not willing to open their eyes and do their own research or listen to the facts as it's presenting themselves to them. Like I said, in the last 4 years, that has been proven abroad of people doing just that. And I had to face that same BS for all them years that I was in there. It wasn't but like a year and a half. It was 512, 513 days. But still, sitting there being innocent. And you have this individual that is so determined to be right that is willing to do and say whatever it takes to prove and make themselves look right. It's very mind boggling of how stupidity some people are in this world that is willing to do that in all aspects of life. Whether it's trying to convict somebody that is innocent, then and the facts are showing that for months and months and months and months, and then it turns into years. Or if you get into politics, the people say this person is this, is racial, or whatever they want to say this person is. But when you ask them, what proof do you have? What data do you have that proves your thoughts on that person being guilty of this or guilty of that, or that person is this and that person is that? I like to know so I can see your outlook on the data that you come to that conclusion. And when I hear people say that this person is this person is that, this person is guilty of this person is guilty of that, when I ask them why, what shows you that, they can't answer. It's because they're just going by something that somebody else said they saw somewhere on social media. That's what we call somebody being arrogant and going down a rabbit hole and they don't even know it. Following somebody else's stupidity just makes you look just as bad as they do. Do your own research. Don't accuse somebody of something just because somebody else says they're guilty of it. Come to your own conclusion. Do your own research. Because so many people in this world, regardless if it's a crime or in other like politics or everyday life, people are getting falsely accused of things just because the people want to be stupid, arrogant, brainwashed, and I can go on different categories and put them kind of people in. Just because they listen to somebody else and not following the facts or doing their own research. I was getting falsely accused by this one individual, the DA, because they were so determined to put a little another notch in their belt of a convicted person. But over time, when that individual is trying so hard and everything is against them, the facts, their colleagues, their friends, eventually, if they're smart enough and not keep being arrogant and stupid, they will change their mind and wake up and realize they're wrong. Now there are some people in the world that's just going to be hard-headed and just not going to give up the false narrative that they're following to prove somebody guilty of something, whether it's guilty of a crime, as I said, or somebody's being racist because they said this or whatever. Unless you can prove it, unless you got data and you got facts that back it up, don't push the narrative so hard until you have that, because it's making you look stupid. And we have a lot of people in this world doing just that. A lot of people in the world is getting falsely accused of something every day. Don't be the arrogant person that accuses somebody of something that you have no facts to back it up with. You can say, well, I think this person is guilty of this, but I haven't found any evidence of it yet. They seem to be the kind of person that would do that, just the things that I have found or heard about. But I haven't found no evidence to back it up except what people say or have said about this person. Keep an open mind. Don't falsely accuse people, because then you will be accused of being arrogant and be found guilty of accusing other people without facts. You'll end up being the bad person at the end of the day. Never accuse somebody unless you have facts to back it up with. Do your research. And that goes with everything in life. If you think somebody created or done a crime, then go with it. That's just like if you see somebody speeding down the road, you get the license plate. Just because the owner of that car that matches that license plate, the car was speeding, that don't mean the owner of that car was speeding. You get the license plate, say, okay, that license plate goes to John Doe. Well, John Doe was speeding down Market Street. No, John Doe owns the car, but that don't mean he or she was driving the vehicle when it was speeding. That's falsely accusing just because you see that the license plate matches the owner. That don't mean the owner was speeding. It may be borrowed. Find that information out before you accuse John Doe of speeding down Market Street just because you got a license plate that matches John Doe. That don't mean John Doe was actually doing it. Just like I was falsely accused just because somebody said one word, dad. Find out what dad means and who's the individual that is being identified when the word of the accuser is saying dad. Because if you don't, you look stupid, arrogant, airheaded. I mean, all kinds of words you can come up with. That's what happened. They took that literally as it was identified as me, but it wasn't. And they took it and ran with it for 500 some days. And at the end, they gave up because everybody around them, their colleagues, the facts, my attorney, me, was showing them that they were wrong. And I was not going to give up of being falsely accused of something I didn't do, especially that magnitude of the situation of what it was. I was sat there for another 512 days and let them twiddle their thumbs and trying to find evidence and come up with nothing. And just cash out more at the end. The book that I wrote, which is right here, would have been more pages. And I will be able to buy more coffee. Do not accuse of people of things unless you have a way to prove that they're guilty of it. If you say, well, I think they are because of this and this and this and this and this, But there's a possibility just because I got this, it don't mean that this and this and this and this proves that they didn't. It's called concrete evidence. Until you got it, don't accuse people and look stupid. And that goes for everything in life. Don't accuse people of things. Especially nowadays, it's so easy to accuse people because you're not willing to do your due diligently of looking up and doing research on your own. You just take somebody else's word. And there's so many social media platforms out there that you can listen to and get false information. When you hear somebody accusing somebody of something, look it up. I mean, it's in the palm of your hand. You can look up anything. I mean, you don't even have to leave home anymore. You can look up anything, you can order anything, and have it delivered to your front door. In reality, and be truthful about it, there should be more people. Let's see. There should be less people of getting falsely accused of things because we have the ability to do more research than we ever had. Back in the day that you only had people's word, the newspapers, the news you see on TV, that was pretty much limited, the only kind of research you can do. But now, research till day's end you can do right there. So stop looking stupid and arrogant just because you want to accuse somebody of something without doing your own research. Because 9 times out of 10, if you keep doing it, someday it will come back and bite you in the ass. It's simple. It will come back and bite you. Thank you for listening. And consider subscribing because there's more stories that I'm going to talk about, things that I had to go through for them 500 some days. Things that the legal system is doing that I would never believe somebody told me that the way that it's happening. I would say, no, that just can't happen. But I've been seeing firsthand that how people on the inside are just as bad, can be just as bad as people on the outside, falsely accusing people. But they have, per se, more obligation or legal bounds to prove if a person is guilty or not. And sometimes if them people in the right places has an ego that they let get in the way of proving if somebody is innocent or guilty, let their own feelings get in the way instead of being professional and going with facts only, somebody's life can really be screwed up. Them kind of people should not be in any kind of power or have any authority on somebody else's life by a flick of a pen. But this is not a perfect world. And there's always going to be people that wiggle their way up the corporate ladder, they say, and falsely accuse people and screw up people's lives for months, years, decades. We see it all the time that people have been in lockup and 30 years later find that they're innocent. They find facts and evidence that proves that they are innocent. And the person that got falsely accused was telling them all the time from day one that they are innocent, and they were not going to listen. They were just determined to falsely accuse that person and get them locked up and move on to the next person. It's like a game almost to them. Like, how many people can I convict in my life? It's a shame that people are in this world that is willing to do whatever, regardless how it's going to ruin somebody's life. Their ego gets in the way by falsely accusing somebody of something that the evidence and the facts and their surroundings and their colleagues are telling them you're wrong, but they're not willing to listen to all that. They're listening to their stupidity of ego and not going to give up until they get what they want. People will say they're not going to do this, say not going to do that, but turn around the very next day and go do it, and then get upset when they get caught. It's a shame that we live in a world that we have people that are that way. And things like this makes it even easier for people falsely accuse of people and get away with things, even though they say they're not going to do it anymore. Social media has changed so many things in this world. It has made people that's been honest, it made them dishonest because they have a way, they think they have a way to be dishonest and covered up and get away with it. The dating world has changed completely. It's no more of going to somebody's house and picking up the lady at their mom's house or at their house, take them out to a nice dinner and movie. It's now you pick them up at their place or you meet them somewhere and they bring their 3 kids and expect that you're going to, like, if you're going to date me, you got to take on responsibility of my kids on the first date. Not the way it happens, not the way it works. But that's the way the world has changed just because social media, people are being dishonest and accusing people of things even more now, which is very sad. But there's always going to be them arrogant, stupid, airheaded, brainwashed people in this world. And this just makes it easier for them. That's the kind of people you just cut out of your life because you don't need to be around them. Everybody can change, but it's up to the individuals to make that decision. So don't go out and falsely accuse people of something that you don't have no evidence, no way to back it up to prove that they did something or they said something or they're guilty of something. It's like the old days. You always point your finger at somebody. Well, you always say you got, 3 fingers pointing back at you. So this is no different. The truth eventually will come out. It just depends on how long you want to have that narrative of falsely accusing somebody. So when the truth does come out, it's just going to make you look even more stupid, arrogant, selfish. This can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. It can be bad by listening to what other people say without doing your research, or it can be a good thing and doing your research and be on the right track. It's up to each individual which track and which direction they take. Falsely accusing people just to make themselves feel good so they can blend in with another group. Just stop falsely accusing people of things that you have no way to prove that they did it. Just because somebody said that this person did A, B, and C does not mean that they done A, B, and C. But if you want to look stupid and just take somebody's word for what they say of what somebody's done or said, then go on and be arrogant. But the truth, at the end, the truth will come out, and which side of the fence you want to be on. Falsely accusing somebody, or one of the smart ones and done their research and found out what the truth and the facts are. So figure out which side of the fence you want to be on. It took the it took the DA 500 some days, roughly, to realize that she was on the side of the fence all by herself. And eventually she gave up. And here I am. It was not easy being on the fence, but with all the people that was on my side, it made it a lot easier. But you have that one person that has that power, authority, with a big freaking ego, makes it hard, even if you're on the right side of the fence, and all you can do is sit and wait. But it's worth every bit of it when you're right and you got evidence that you're right and you got the facts to back it up. Never jump fence. They try to get me to agree to some less charges, and they say, you're going to have less time. Nope. I'm innocent. You ain't getting shit. I'm going to sit right here. Sometimes being stubborn, especially when you know you're right, pisses them off. Because it don't matter what they say, don't matter what they do, you don't budge. Because if they say, well, you don't know if you're innocent or whatever, but then you got the facts to throw in their face, it really pisses them off. So don't give up. If you're right, don't matter what anybody accuses you of, if you know you're innocent, never give in. Never give in at all. It pisses them off to no end. In regards to how long it takes to prove what the facts are, just ride the wave as long as it takes. It'll be the worth of the effort that it took to get you there. I mean, it took me 500 and some days, but here I am, not behind them bars anymore, being falsely accused. And if I had to go through it again, somebody asked me, says, if you had to go through it again, what would you change? I really wouldn't change anything because I was innocent and I was not going to give up. I really wouldn't change anything. I would just sat there and said, I'm innocent and I'm going to sit here and wait for you to try to prove me otherwise. That's it. That's all I can do. There's nothing that I could done to make it any easier for myself, make it go any less time. It was pretty much their empower and their ego. It just depends on how much ego and their pride got to them before they gave up. All I can do is sit, wait, and just keep saying I'm innocent. Prove me wrong. Not easy. By no means was it easy. But it gave me insight of how the legal system and how people can be just as rude and falsely accusing people in the legal system as it's being done out in the street, social media, politics. It's everywhere. And when you put authority with your ego and put it all together, and you can't be professional and leave your ego and self thoughts and stuff to the side, the legal system will never be a good system. But just stop falsely accusing people, regardless where you're at. If you're an attorney, or if you're a DA, or just a person on the street, don't falsely accuse people until you got the facts to back it up. And don't take other people's facts as they claim is facts. Find facts about what they call facts and be sure they actually are facts and not just somebody's opinion. That's the problem. A lot of people's not willing to do the effort, take the effort to find out what the truth is, and they just go along with other people. And it messes this whole world up. Stop falsely accusing people, and you'll have a better life, and other people will have a better life from not getting falsely accused of something that they didn't do or say. Thank you for listening. Consider subscribing, sharing the video, liking the video, and comments in the video as well. I will see you in the next video with another story. Take care.